I wasn't planning on staying long at the farmer's market that morning. Just eggs, maybe some bread, then home. But that's when I saw them for the first time, Daniel and Marissa. They had a little booth tucked away near the corner, with rows of candles displayed like treasures. Each candle was neat, perfect, wrapped with a ribbon. The labels weren't printed but handwritten in looping calligraphy that looked like something out of a love letter. Marissa stood behind the table, blonde hair catching the light, smiling as though she'd been waiting just for me. Daniel hovered beside her, tall, broad-shouldered, handsome in that old Hollywood way. They were the kind of couple that drew attention without trying. Everyone seemed to adore them. "Would you like to try one?" Marissa asked, her voice soft, melodic. She held out a candle called Midnight Rain. I leaned in and inhaled. It was intoxicating, like petrichor and smoke and something sweet I couldn't quite place. "Wow," I said, "that's amazing." She smiled wider. "Then it's yours. A gift. From us." I tried to refuse, but she pressed it into my hands. Daniel laughed, deep and smooth, and for the first time his eyes met mine. There was something intense there. Not menacing, not yet, but focused, like I had become the only person in the world. The next week I saw them again. They remembered my name. They asked questions about my life, what I did for work, how long I'd lived in town, what I liked to do for fun. Normal small talk, except they listened too closely. They remembered details I didn't even remember telling them. By the third week, they invited me to dinner. "It's always nice to bring new people into our lives," Marissa said, her eyes locking onto mine. "We love connections." Their house sat just beyond the edge of town, large but not ostentatious. A white picket fence, ivy creeping along the porch. The kind of house that belonged on a magazine cover. Inside, everything was perfect. Too perfect. Every object, every vase, every book, every frame was positioned deliberately, like someone had measured the angles with a ruler. The place smelled faintly of wax and vanilla. Dinner was extravagant. Slow-roasted lamb, herbed potatoes, roasted carrots. A spread far too fancy for a casual evening with a near stranger. Daniel poured wine into my glass, red as blood. Marissa didn't touch hers. She just watched me sip mine, her lips curled in that same knowing smile she'd worn at the market. Conversation flowed, though I noticed something strange. They seemed to already know things about me. Daniel asked how I liked teaching. Marissa mentioned the little dog I'd had when I was 12, the one that got hit by a car. My chest tightened. I couldn't remember ever telling them that. When I asked how they knew, they laughed it off. "You must have mentioned it at the market," Marissa said, her voice too smooth, too dismissive. As the evening stretched on, I checked the time. "I should probably head out," I said, standing. Daniel chuckled. "So soon? You haven't even seen the basement." The words made my skin prickle. Who shows off their basement at dinner? But before I could answer, Marissa was already leading the way, her hand trailing along the polished banister. Daniel's hand rested lightly on my shoulder, guiding me forward. My throat tightened. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my legs moved anyway, step by step, down into the dark. The smell hit me first. Wax. Thick, cloying, almost choking. Then I saw the shelves. Dozens of them, lining every wall, stacked with candles. Hundreds, maybe thousands, each with the same handwritten label. But they weren't scents, they were names. Every candle bore a name in perfect swirling ink. Some were familiar, people from town. Others were strangers. The air grew heavy, suffocating, as I walked farther in. Then my heart stopped. On the middle shelf, at eye level, was a candle with my name. My breath caught in my throat. The glass slipped from my hand and shattered on the cement floor. The sound echoed through the basement like a gunshot. Daniel didn't flinch. Marissa tilted her head, her smile gone now, replaced with something darker, hungrier, "You'll burn beautifully," she whispered. I turned toward the stairs, but Daniel was already there, blocking the way. His smile was polite, almost apologetic, but his eyes burned with the same cold focus I'd seen at the market. Marissa reached for the candle with my name, cradling it like something precious. She struck a match. The flame hissed, then roared to life. The room seemed to close in around me, and that's when I finally realized I was never leaving their house alive.